What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pro League SC2 visual novel. We just discovered this. Look at that, changed right away. And then we should have some more people in here. But anyways, we're going into game number 3 right now in the Afreeca Freaks against Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, Afreeca Freaks up against the wall here as Samsung Galaxy are ahead 2-0. Really nice play from Solar and Reality to take the wins for Galaxy. And Super versus Deer, I mean, Deer has been looking hot lately.
Dude, Deer might be the best Protoss right now. Deer and Zest, I think, just look terrifying right now. Hero as well. Hero looks very good. All these, but I mean, some of these guys we've seen come into Legacy have had a hard time. I'd say some of the best Protosses are only better.
I mean, they're working off what Legacy of the Void has given them in new units, new spells, and it seems that these players are like really, they're smart and they're privy to what they have at their disposal. And as a result, we've seen these players that did really well on Harder Swarm compared to the players that really did well for Terran and Zerg remain at the top in terms of their race.
Let's see how these two guys do. Now, Super, guys, I don't mean to knock on him. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's in the same category as somebody like Deer.
Yeah, I don't think Super is at that top tier of Protoss players that dominate their respective races.
If you're somebody who studies Protoss intensely, you probably don't dig up Super's games immediately.
Yeah,
you would definitely give him a look, okay?
I mean, there's times where Super does some funky builds that you might work off. As you can see here, like the last game, Reality versus Billowy, we're all predicting Deer here, so no surprises.
All right, guys, let's see what Super's got in store for us as we go into game number 3. In the upper left, in the red, our Protoss player, Super. And in the bottom left, in the blue, Deer.
It's going to take a super effort from Super to take this game out, but Ulrena, one of those funky maps. And we saw in the SSL last week, Classic against Patience. Patience doing a really nice build against Classic in Game 4, and as a result, he took that game out. Maybe we might see the same thing here from Super.
I think this map may benefit Super. I think this map, I know that there's 2 Protoss players here, but I'd say on a map like this in a best of 1, any Protoss on any given Sunday can take a game.
Yeah, as long as you don't get scouted and the opponent doesn't prepare for it, you can easily take a win, no matter what. And yeah, as you said before, Arena, it tailors to what Super might be able to do on this map against Deer and take that game with a cheesy sort of strategy.
So let's see what he's got in store for us here. Now, granted, Deer, being a veteran Protoss player, the very best of the best, is going to know that. But I'm curious. Now, Super, I kind of thought this was going to look like the opposite GTR. Yeah. I thought we would probably see Super opening like Deer and Deer opening like Super.
Yeah, I thought,
here, you know?
I thought that Super would be the one going on aggressive, but it looks like that Deer is going to go for those early 2 gates, and Super going to take that early Nexus along with the 1 gate, working off that 1 gate with the core, and we'll see how this game pans out from here.
Yeah, we will just have to wait and see, man. Now, normally, when we see the core finish and they've done openers like this, we're going to see some early offense here. So we see the Stalkers coming out now with warp gates. And it's pretty clear at this point in time, Deer is really committing on 1 base. Yeah. At least for now, okay? Yeah. Because if you have 2 gates up and you're getting these upgrades and, of course, getting the mothership core as well, you can't get a Nexus right away, which means you have to do something. Because if he doesn't attack and do damage, then Super is automatically ahead. So I'm curious to see how he handles this.
Yeah, the point of the early 2 gate is to get those 2 Stalkers out to do damage to your opponent. And if these Stalkers don't do that much damage to Super in whatever way, shape or form, then DL will be behind because Super does have that Nexus behind this, and we'll just have to see how well DL uses these Stalkers that have just come out. It looks like he's just going to use it defensively and takes his own Nexus and tries to play catch-up. Yeah,
now let's see how this game goes from here. Now, with the Nexus starting already, Super's pumping workers out of 2 Nexuses instead of 1, so I'm very interested in seeing how the rest of this game actually pans out. Uh-oh, all right, now, this is actually a problem, buddy. Oh, barely gets that recalled in time.
Whoa! Whoa! Nah, he's fine. No. Oh.
Whoa.
I thought he should have moved that a bit more.
No, that's what I thought too. I was like, wait a minute.
A close call from both players, but as you mentioned with the earlier Nexus of Super, not only he has that extra Nexus to build more probes, he also has another Chrono Boost to work with. So if he keeps those Chrono Boosts on those gateways, it means he can produce more units quicker than his opponent Deer, until at least Deer gets his own Nexus up.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, that's actually something that I think we rarely highlight in PvP, but you're right. It's not just who got the other base mining from earlier, but also, who gets that extra boost from having, more Nexi out like this. So as the game goes on, Super looking not bad at all. His Robo base just finished, so he's starting observers. His Twilight Council is further along than his opponents.
Yeah. As you said before, we see both players getting observers out. Observers pretty pivotal of seeing what your opponent is doing, but I guess Deer actually getting those 2 sentries to help with the hallucinations. Obviously, Hallucinate Phoenix sees everything that Super is doing right now.
Okay, Blink is coming here. The Immortals are getting cranked out slowly but surely here by Deer. Now, if there's a player that could play from this position, I'd say Deer would be our guy. He's a very solid player. Kind of curious to see what his initial plan was here, or if he just did that opening at the start where he got the later Nexus preemptively, assuming that Super must end up having to do something completely crazy, or there's no other way he could win.
Really curious to know why Deer bought that Mothership core out. I'm not sure if he just wanted to do damage to it, but it was so low on health that, especially when he has his Phoenix scouting, that there wasn't really real advantage of moving it up there.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it might be something as technical as he wants to have the Mothership Core show over there for a second to draw attention so the hallucinated Phoenix can actually get in there and do more. But I don't think you're wrong in what you're saying either, GTR. I mean, it's kind of I thought it was a little bit funny looking myself.
See here, Super adding more gateways, and actually Deer actually sees this, so we'll see how Deer reacts to this. It actually adds the robotics bay. He wants to get those disruptors out, and we all know how awesome disruptors are in this matchup.
Well, you got to think, especially actually pushing through the small valley here in the middle, it could do a lot of damage. Okay, now we see Super beginning to edge forward and try to take his third base. Third base may be acquired later here by Deer, since he actually got his second base up later as well, and therefore didn't get that extra boost in income right away. Yeah,
I think that Deer is just going to add these gateways up for defensive purposes and maybe wait for a disruptor or 2 before taking that third base, because well, look at the supply count right now. Super has quite a nice army lead, 7 army supply ahead of his opponent Deer. So yeah, we'll just have to see how this pans out. I mean, Super is taking control of the map so far. He's going to take those rocks out. And actually, he might be able to walk over Deer here.
He definitely has a lot of sentries, and this is normally meant to deny the third base, not to take out the second, but hold on. We got an Immortal drop over here.
Oh, but we see a counterattack here from Super. He has just way too many units here. A lot of force fields on those sentries, but nice pylon overcharges has to force Super back.
Now the Immortal's still doing a good amount of damage, actually taking out one of those pylons here. I don't know if he can get up there just yet. He's going to have to wait for those pylons.
Oh, I don't know why he didn't just wait for those to finish. Those pylon overcharges still doing damage when they could have been avoided. And nice force fields here from Super.
Here we go! Right on the sentries. Big plays.
Big play. Super has to move back, in my opinion. I think that disruptor did too much damage. But actually, no, Deer's actually pulling his probes out. I don't think he needs to pull his probes. I mean, that's enough Stalkers.
Well, I think if he gets rid of that Immortal down there, then he just wins the game, because this Immortal's already doing too much damage.
Yeah.
Because you got to bear in mind that he's been warping in units this entire time to break the front. I think Super was maybe just a little bit too greedy. Once he saw the third base was not there, I don't know if the right move was to try to attack in here.
Yeah, and that Disruptor actually did a lot of splash damage to the army.
He's going to regroup here and hit the third base.
Yeah, we'll
check this out.
We'll see how Super defends this. I mean, he doesn't really have too many units. He lost way too much there. And remember...
The Immortals pair here, though, and he can actually get the warp-ins right over here.
Like, Deer still has those Immortals from before, so these pylon overcharges aren't going to do much damage. Those Immortals just shredding those pylons.
Still warping into more Stalkers. The Disruptors are out! And big plays, takes out the Stalkers. Nicely done. And I think Super has lost this game. Really nice tactics here from Deer.
Yeah, Super getting way too greedy there, GG. And that's 3-0 to Samsung, as we expected.
The Afreeca Freaks got wrecked. And to put it simply.
I mean, I question what Super was thinking behind that attack at the ramp of Deer, knowing that Deer hadn't taken his third base and him taking his own third base. Maybe he thought he could have broken through, but nice defense there from Deer. And you got to remember that 2 Immortal drop there from Deer harassing while that attack was going on. If he lost those Immortals, I don't think he could have, Deer that is, he could have won that game straight up, because those Immortals did a lot of damage when he Deer counterattacked.
Well, here's the funny thing about it. The reason why he didn't lose those Immortals is because Super kept warping in at the front. So Super was confident that he would actually just break him because of the absence of the Immortals. But the 3 pylons, the Photon Overcharge on the 3 pylons, and then the fact that he just kept on warping in, and he had Blink done as well, he was just able to outmaneuver his opponent, and eventually there were too many workers picked off. And after that, I think that there was just way too many losses suffered there for Super. So nicely done there by Deer. Not the game I expected it to look like, but definitely a pleasing result to see. Some excellent play coming out there from Deer. So guys, we don't even have game number 4 or 5. We're going to be going into our second series right away.
Yep, so we'll be going straight into MVP against KT Rollstar. As we see here the results though for this matchup, Afreeca 0 to Samsung Galaxy 3. And we don't get to see Bomber, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I was curious to see how he would play here. He's been a little bit of a...
enigma.
Yeah, well, he's just been AWOL, man. He's been absent.
I think the problem is that Legend's been always sending Bomber out for the 4th match, and it doesn't even get to that point, so...
Yeah, brutal series. I gotta say, Curious had a really close game. Billowy looked good until, you know, we got far enough long enough that, you know, Reality could really flex his muscle in the late game. And Super, it's been consistent with Super. He seems to be